What is up, guys? PetriFyTV here. In today's video, you guys have been asking me to make this video so many times, and I'm finally going to do it. This is going to be me giving you guys tips and tricks to actually win more gunfights in Phantom Forces. Now, these tips will actually help you out a lot if you use them properly and use them how I like to use them. These tips are full of like tryhard tips, and you guys are going to call me diving tryhard and everything like that, but these tips will absolutely help you win more gunfights in Phantom Forces and also might even help you become an even greater player than you already are. But anyways, let's get straight into the tips and tricks. The first tip I can give you guys is be aware of your surroundings. That means using your objectives to your advantage. That means going around and back and forth, juking your enemy, and just using like a crate, like I'm going to show you guys on gameplay right now. I use this box to my advantage to actually juke enemies out and just keep poking out and killing them very easily. Now, not only that, you can pay attention to your bottom left-hand mini-map at the bottom corner. Not too many players actually pay attention to this a lot because a lot of players play on a laptop, and sometimes some laptops make that mini-map very, very tiny, so they can't really even pay attention that much anyways. But also, if you have a bigger screen, it's harder to pay attention to the mini-map also. But if you have a laptop, you most likely can see it pretty well, but not all the time. Some laptops are different. But if you can pay attention to that mini-map, it's very, very important, because if an enemy shoots, if an enemy's on an objective, or if an enemy is spotted by your teammate, they will be on that mini-map constantly for a good 5 seconds or longer after they shoot their weapon without a suppressor, or if they're on the mini-map, or if they're on the objective, or if your teammates spot them. It's very important to pay attention to that, because that means you can pre-fire them and you can kill them around corners, and they literally have no chance. If they kill you when you're pre-firing around a corner, that they're a great player. They're an amazing player. The next tip I can't stress enough: a lot of players try to find best class setups on YouTube. I know I do best class setups sometimes. That's because maybe I can give you guys a favorite class setup. But what I recommend you guys to do is actually using your favorite class setup, your favorite gun, your favorite attachments. Now, I can recommend 3 attachments that you want to use on pretty much every single weapon. Some weapons, it does vary between the attachments, but the attachments that I will give you is compensator, angle grip, and green laser, and then you use whatever optic you want on your weapon. It depends what you like on your weapon. If you like iron sights, use iron sights. If you like coyote sight, use that. If you like reflex sight, use that. But I recommend using compensator, angle grip, and green laser on pretty much every single weapon that you do use in the game. It will help you out a lot. Now, using your favorite weapon is very, very important, because you'll be used to that weapon, and you'll also enjoy playing a lot more if you're using a weapon that you're very familiar with. The next tip I can give you is very important. I use this pretty much every single gunfight I get in, especially long distance gunfights, and this is called strafing back and forth. If you guys don't know what that means, when you're aiming down sights and you're shooting at enemy, you press A and D at the same time, going back and forth, and it makes it a lot harder for the enemy to either hit headshots or even shoot you in general if you're doing strafing back and forth very properly. If you're doing like spamming it back and forth like crazy, you most likely won't win the gunfight, because you're basically standing in the same spot. But make sure you're doing it kind of slow but kind of fast at the same time, and I guarantee you guys win more long distance gunfights. You guys will see me use strafe a lot in this gameplay that you guys are watching, and it's very important to strafe every single gunfight. Now, you can also use strafing while hip firing, which is very helpful, but also it can get you killed at the same time. So make sure you're not strafing too much when you're hip firing, or you use other movement abilities to your advantage. We'll get to that in just a second. Now, the next tip is honestly where everybody's going to say you're a tryhard in the comments, is using your movement properly, chaining your movements together to actually perform some type of movement to actually throw your enemy off like crazy. I'll show you guys a video that I uploaded a while ago on my YouTube channel. I'll show it right now to show you guys what my movement I use when I'm trying my hardest. Obviously, after seeing that does take some time to actually master, to combo those moves together and use them like a chain-like fashion, and just use them over and over again like I did. And now you can overuse this to your advantage, and you can win pretty much every single gunfight that you get into, unless it's a 1v1, a 1v2. Now, if you get into a 1v3, it's going to be a lot harder. I think I was in a 1v2 situation or a couple times, and I actually used diving and crouch walking and everything like that. I'll tell you guys how to actually do these movements right now. Now, if you guys don't know how to dive in the game, you can use this to dive around corners, throw your enemy off, not to expect you to dive past them, fly past them. Now, you can use 2 different dives. There is a dive where you can jump further and higher, and then there's a dive that you can actually just dive around corners, things like that. Now, the simple dive is you can hold down Shift and W while you're running around a corner, and you press Z and you will dive forward. Now, you can use this to strafe around corners while while diving, and you can also use Z and spacebar at the same time, which will make you jump higher and further, which is a very important dive to use in certain gunfights to actually get away from enemies, get away from gunfights, or jump over walls that you need to get out of a gunfight or something like that. The next movement I like to use, I use this pretty much throughout my whole gameplay at 24/7. I use it every single time I start running, everything like that. But the first thing you want to do, or they call this the speed run or the crab walk. I don't know what the frick they call it. They call it so many different things, but I just call it the speed run or the crab walk. And I hold down Shift and W. And then what you want to do is let go of Shift and press C at the same time. And then let go of C and press Shift very quickly. You want to do this pretty quickly. Just go into a private match or something, or just go into a game and go around outside of the map and practice this. You guys can master it very easily, and then you can become a better player by using this ability to actually get around corners, get away from gunfights if you actually need to, and also using this to get past your enemies. If you guys don't know, if you're running straight at an enemy and you press C, you're going to zoom right past them. You're going to be behind them, and they can't kill you pretty much unless they have very high mouse sensitivity, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. The next tip I can give you is a very obvious tip, is headshots. Headshots are actually really important to the gunfights and everything like that. If you guys can hit headshots, it's very easy to win a lot of your gunfights. If you hit a headshot on somebody and they're shooting you in the chest, you most likely win that gunfight unless you miss your bullets. But the head in this game, like shooting the head is not hard in this game. It's not like CSGO. CSGO, it's not hard to hit it, but it's a little bit harder than Phantom Forces is obviously. But you can aim down in this game, and it's not that hard to strafe back and forth and hit headshots because it is basically like a circle of a head, like a giant circle that you can hit, and it's very easy to hit headshots. And I recommend going for headshots. That'll win a lot more gunfights, and not too many people actually do that because they want to make sure they hit all their shots into the chest. But if you can get good at hitting headshots, you're just going to destroy everybody. Simple as that. The next tip I can give you is knowing when to shoot your weapon, and this is when you're behind enemies. If you wait a little bit, eventually, if you're following an enemy and he doesn't know you're there, he's gonna either lead you to more teammates or just get you killed by his teammates spawning on him and turning around and shooting you. But this works both ways. If you follow that enemy that doesn't know where you're at, he's most likely gonna run towards all his teammates, and you're gonna get a big feed by getting behind all the enemies. And this is something I do a lot in my gameplays sometimes, and also what I do off camera when I'm just playing without recording or anything like that. I use that to my advantage to actually get a lot of kills in the game by following enemies around, and then they lead me to their teammates so I can shoot them all in the back. Now, the final tip I can give you guys is actually pretty helpful, is mouse sensitivity. Mouse sensitivity is actually very important for you guys to actually get used to a certain speed of your mouse. I use a very low sensitivity because I have a lot of mouse room, and I also have I have very low DPS, and also I turn my sensitivity as slow as possible pretty much. And since I do that, it's because I originally was a console player, and I came from slow sensitivity on console to slow sensitivity on mouse, and I have a lot of mouse room, so I can make up for that lack of speed on my mouse. I wish I would have higher sensitivity so I wouldn't have to swing my arm everywhere. But if you have a high sensitivity, you're most likely can be a good player if you have good aim with that high sensitivity. But if you guys have a hard time actually hitting headshots or actually hitting your shots in general, turn down your sensitivity a lot. If you guys don't know, there's a game options section in Phantom Forces. Before you deploy, it will say game options. You go to there, and you can customize your sensitivity as well in Phantom Forces. I have a ton more ways to win a lot more gunfights, so if you guys want me to do a part 2 of this video, just tell me down in the comments below. Make sure you hit that like button so I know that you guys do enjoy these series. I can do more tips in the later future. I plan on doing all the spawns on maps. Maybe I do one map at a time and show you guys all the spawns. Those videos would be about 3 minutes long though if I do it like that, or I would cover 2 maps at a time and things like that. But if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Let's see you in the next video. Peace out.